Okay, so welcome German community here back, eScene TV. My name is Tobias and I have a special guest today, Heather alias Sapphire. And how are you doing? How's the event for you?
I'm doing great. I'm absolutely loving this event. I've never been to London before, so it's just exciting just to be here as well. But it's a great event. I love the intimate feel of the venue. You get to be really close to the players. It's a really nice space here at the O2. I'm just loving it.
Okay, so you're the observer together with Rush. Yeah, the observer is more a background job. But first, let's start. Maybe you can tell a little bit about you. Most people know you a little bit about the name because of the female scene. Maybe you can tell a little bit about you.
Sure. So I've been playing since 1999 in Counter-Strike, competing since about 2002, played in almost 200 tournaments now. So I've been around for a long time, went through 1.6, Source, and Go. I play mostly in mixed male tournaments, but I have played in a few female tournaments. I think that's where I kind of got my name out there because I did win ESWC in 2012, so that's the Women's World Cup. So that's definitely one of my favorite moments in my gaming career. But I've been playing for a long time. I've also done a lot of behind-the-scenes things, especially in Counter-Strike Source. I was very, very passionate about that game, but there wasn't a lot of media coverage for it. So I was doing, I was a writer and doing social media and public relations and marketing and all that. So mixed with that and playing, and now I've also transitioned to observing. So I've been an observer for a little less than a year now, and I just absolutely love it because it's taken me all over the world, and it's nice that I don't have to pay all the time because obviously I've had to pay my own way to events for well over a decade now, so it's nice to not have to worry about that part as well.
Nice. And how you come to the Observer? It was more like, oh hey, let's go, let's do Observer, or you have to say, yeah, let's try this?
Well, I got a call from someone at ESL, and I live close to ESL's office in Southern California, and they said, hey, we need an observer for the weekend. And I was like, oh, you don't want me, I've never done that before. And they said, no, I mean, you've played the game at a very high level. I always considered myself kind of a student of the game, very studious of demos and teams and players. And they said, just give it a shot, you'll be okay. I dragged my husband along with me, who's Volcano. He played professionally for years on Team 3D, and now, he made DE Cash. So I dragged him with me, and I said, please just sit with me and help me out for the first map. And, we worked together on it, and I'm like, oh, this isn't so bad. I guess I know this, I just didn't realize it because I watch literally thousands and thousands of matches, and I didn't realize, like, oh, I do this myself already, and now I'm just doing it for a larger audience. So it kind of spiraled from there, started picking up more events, got my name out there, and apparently people seem to like my observing.
Okay, and I think you need some preparation before you start. You have some plan that you do before every match?
At least, not necessarily before each match, but before each event. So I like to use a certain config, for example, like the crosshair. I make it a little more pronounced than I would as a player because I want to make sure the viewers can see that. And, getting all my settings correct. Actually, I will say before a match, to observe, each player has a number on the radar, and I memorize those because that way I can be quick and switch to those players, especially if a caster is saying, oh, look at what Fallen is doing right now. I don't have to look where they are on the radar. I can quickly swap because I've remembered their number, except those numbers change at half and as matches change. So that's something I make sure I do before every map. But it's a lot of little technical configurations. Also before an event, I want to make sure my setup is proper. So at most events I have at least 4 computers and 4 monitors with me. One is with the main game, which I'm sending out to the stream. One is with the large radar, one is with a program feed, so I know what is going out to the stream, and one is with a backup computer in case something happens on the first one. It's a lot of little technical setup.
Yeah, that was my next question that I want to give to the community, the setup. Yeah. You talked about 4 PCs, there's a lot. Can you explain a little bit how it looks like for the guys who think it's not? It's only I press 2 or 4 keys. Yeah.
Sure. So I'll have the main computer, and that's what's going to go out to the stream, and I'll have that kind of usually to my left. In front of me, I'll have another monitor with the large radar, and that's what I'm watching, I'd say at least 90% of the time. And on that is all the dots for each single player, and each player has a number assigned to them. So I want to understand where the contact points are going to happen, or where there's different lines of sight. So I'm watching that radar almost the majority of the time, and clicking to a player when I see there's going to be some action. We also have a program feed because we do have a backup computer. And for example, if there's a one-on-one, I'm going to select, it could be Fallen and it could be Scream. So I want to select both of those players. The producer will bring up a nice one-on-one feed, but after that round ends, the wrong computer might go out to stream. So having that program feed is good because then I can check, oh my gosh, maybe someone misclicked something, and it's happened before where someone on Reddit will say, oh, the observer sucks, they missed this round. For example, the Kusta 3-kill earlier in this tournament, a lot of people said, oh, I can't believe either Sapphire or Rush missed it. We actually had it. Fortunately, the wrong computer is being sent out to stream, and we didn't have a program feed at the time, so we made sure immediately, right after that, we got our program feed. So a lot of it's staring at the radar and understanding. You need to understand the maps to a very high level. It also helps to understand the players as well. For example, Dennis. I was observing yesterday when Dennis had his ace on Cash in a pistol round, and Dennis is known for being one of the best pistol players in the world. So if I see Dennis is going to have some action, even though there was action possibly happening in middle and his teammates were going to flank, I knew that Dennis, being the elite pistol player he is, I'm definitely going to put my the vision on him. Another player I like to observe is Guardian because he's a very, very aggressive opper. So understanding the players helps you be a better observer because you can just be quicker to react.
Okay. Then maybe we go a little bit in the other direction. Let's talk about a little bit of women in esports. So you played a lot, you are very experienced, and what do you think? What is the difference between male and female esports?
Well, the biggest difference is size right now. So it's a significantly smaller pool of players. And if you look at the men's scene, for example, there's a massive scene. However, only a very, very small fraction of a percent of those players are elite players. So when you look at the female scene and you say, oh, who are the elite players? A fraction of a percent of a much smaller scene leaves only a handful of females. So that's why it's very difficult to get a full, very talented female team that could take on a team like Luminosity, for example. We're just not there yet. And so what I want to see, and obviously I want to see the current players, female players, improve their skills, but I also want to just see a larger pool of females in the scene as well. And also, there are starting to be a few females that do stand out, like for example Giuliano, and she played in that HTSC 1v1 tournament. She had an opportunity to show her skill there, and I played, for example, with a female team against Navi, and while we lost, we still got 12 rounds against them. So here or there, maybe we do a few impressive things, but right now I just want to see more females compete in the spotlight against these talented, maybe tier 2 male teams, for example. And a big misconception people have is that females only play against other females. I always try to prove that wrong, because that only happens 6 days out of the year. There's 3 events: Copenhagen Games, IEM, and ESWC. Usually 2 days each. So 6 days out of the year, females play against other females. They mostly play and practice with and against other males. However, they're not necessarily qualifying for those major events, and some teams aren't even trying to qualify. I know I'm very close to 2 female teams, Karma and CLG Red in North America. They're always playing in the major qualifiers, or the online qualifiers to get to the offline qualifiers, etc. So I want to see that happen with more female teams. They're going to improve more quickly if they push themselves to play against those top teams.
Okay. So what do you think about mixed teams? For example, Giuliano goes to Fnatic, for only example. You think that can happen, that the man and the woman or both can play together, or the man it's too stressful, or I don't know?
I think it can certainly happen, and I look at all the events I played in. I've played with far more mixed teams than I ever have female teams. It just hasn't happened on a major level yet, so that's why you don't really see it in the spotlight. It happens all the time. You just don't notice it because they're not playing in those big events. I'd love to see that happen, and that's where I really want to see the scene transition. But it's definitely a different mindset you have to take on, and there's times when, for me at least, I can only speak for myself. I played on mixed teams because those were my 4 closest friends at the time, and they happened to be male. Just a couple months ago, I was playing with Team Karma because they live near me in Los Angeles. They're 4 of my best female friends, and we get along together, best friends outside and inside the game. So I played with females. To me, I don't care what their gender is. I just want to have fun and play with whoever I like to play with. I hope eventually that does lead to some mixed teams. So I've been playing with Team Karma, which is an all-female team, and I play with them because they're some of my best friends. They live near me in Los Angeles, and I get along with them. So for me, it's really not about gender. It's just about who I want to play with. And, for example, maybe some of my male friends would be more talented than some of my female friends, but I find more enjoyment playing with my best friends and trying to be as good as we possibly can be, and I kind of like that challenge. Maybe I'm not playing with the best 4 possible teammates, for example, but I want to challenge myself and be happy too and enjoy the game as well. So everyone has their own different mindset when it comes to it, but I would love to see a very strong mixed team in the future. I'd love to see a female playing right now in the Pro League finals. That'd be amazing if it does someday happen.
Good. Then thank you very much for the interview. It was very, very interesting. I wish you a nice day here in London and a nice time.
Thank you very much. It was great to talk to you.
Thank you.